Good evening, it's 8 o'clock, it's Thursday, and it's the Big Metal Detecting Podcast.
Welcome to the Big Metal Detecting Podcast.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all well this fine evening. Here we are tonight again, Thursday night, best night of the week, by far. And we're joined tonight by a Mr. Kris Rodgers, addicted to Bleeps. So before we have a chat with Kris, one piece of news this week. There are actually more pieces of news, incidentally, but I'm so excited to speak to Kris tonight, and I'm sure people will want to listen to what he has to say as opposed to other things this evening. So basically, we have readers' finds on the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine website, and a gentleman contacted me last week, a new listener to the show called Stuart Payne. Now, Stuart lives up in Scotland on the northeast coast, and he's been a bit of beach walking and what have you. He hasn't actually got a metal detector as yet. He's soon to get one for definite after listening to the shows. And he made quite a startling discovery on the beach. Now, first of all, he was walking along, a bit of beachcombing, and he found a sheep bone. Carried on a couple of days later and found what we think, and I've sent it to experts in the subject, a World War II artillery shell. The area is quite well known to be quite heavily bombarded in the Second World War. His third find, and the one that gave us the wow moment, especially when it sent it to me and I went wow, is a sword. It's definitely a sword. Now, all the images we've sent along to different experts in the subject. There's a bit of different opinions from different areas. Archaeology Scotland think it's more modern than most people think it is, but from the shape, the patina, etc., etc., it is believed to be that of a Viking sword. So we published an article which has been quite well received over the past week, and we've added the sources information to tell you what they think it is. We've been looking at the typology of Alfred Geibig and Norwegian Viking Age sword typology, and basically we've come to the conclusion ourselves that this is a not a World War II sword, a sword from the Viking era. So well done to that man there, Stuart Payne. Fantastic. I'll drop the article into the live chat. People in the live chat, obviously, give me a shout out regarding the quality. I did have I've got a new piece of kit, and the new piece of kit I've been very excited because off air, it's some startling, brilliant to listen to. You can hear everything crystal clear. I've come to do the show tonight, and it won't connect on air, so I'm going to have a play with Mr. Higgins, hopefully this week, and have a bit of back and two, try some live feeds, and get back to what we want it to be, because obviously we've got the potential of going on to different radio stations and that such like. So, without further ado, good evening to Mr. Christopher Rodgers, addicted to Bleeps. How are you?
You're going to have a play with Mr. Higgins?
Yes, I'll be having a play with Mr. Higgins this weekend as well, but that's a different story.
Good Lord, man. What type of podcast have I signed myself up to here?
For now.
How you doing, buddy? How you doing?
All right, mate. How's yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. My name isn't actually Christopher. It's actually Christian. Did you know that, Dave?
I didn't know that. No.
It's Christian with a Kristian because
I apologise most profusely.
It's the Scandinavian version, you see. So it's the Viking thing.
There you go. You see, you'll like that sword that Mr. Payne's found.
What was the guy's name? Mr. Longhorn.
Stuart Payne.
No, the actual dude who you think it belongs to, or...
No, it's not who it belongs to. It's actually the typology
Oh.
It's basically a website filled with images of different Viking swords or different Viking type swords, and obviously the gentleman who's done it is there's the Peterson type swords, the Norwegian Viking Age swords typology, but there's also another website called the Sword Typology of Alfred Geibig. Geibig, yes. So it's actually a fantastic website. It's
I bet it is,
pommel forms. It's got blade typology. It's got all sorts on there. Something I've only recently found, and it's a good-looking little site. To be fair,
big guys,
big guy, guy big.
yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just okay. Yeah. So there you go. We've got that cleaned up.
Yes, and I think hopefully, well, Mr. Higgins knows that we're having a play. Yeah, so
he'll be looking forward to that.
So we're actually working. So. Luke, this week, please, or the next week if possible, we discuss it over the weekend, and we need to get on to testing this new piece of kit I've got. It was coming up when I was off air trying to talk to Chris. It was coming up saying that I needed to update the programs and what have you. So unfortunately, bloody thing, it's been a nightmare, mate. Week after week, there's always something at the start of the show that it's me and I can't get it working properly, but thankfully I think I've actually picked the right settings tonight, so everybody will hear us all right. So and last week was a great week for all the shows that we've done so far, including all the Rodney Cook Memorial and all the Detectable shows. Last week is now our record listened to show with Mrs. Dilek Gonule from Macro Nocta, so it's doing all right. We're going up a bit, so there you go. Anyway, you've been busy.
Me? Yes, yeah. Mate. Yes. Yeah. I have actually. Yeah, I'm doing all sorts going on, like concerning metal detecting. Obviously, I found the Hoard, didn't I? And then ever since then, it's been I've just been out.
Having fun.
Well, yeah, I've just been doing kind of like an hour here and there, and I've kind of got this new philosophy when making videos now. It used to be that you'd get the whole hunt into one video. That was the plan. But now I kind of figured that, it doesn't really matter so much if I get just bits of different hunts in. People don't seem to be that bothered about it. So that's what I've been doing. I've been out, man. I've just been out, and then I've been updating my website. I've started getting into blogging a little bit. Started like creating blog posts. I'm kind of enjoying that. That's cool. Just kind of trying to avoid the drama which is going on at the moment. The shots being fired left, right, and centre, and I'm trying to duck them strategically. Yeah, no, it's cool, man. Yeah, it's cool. It's nice. It's a weird one though, Dave, because there's a certain psychology in, and you only kind of know that it happens when it happens, and I've never found a Hoard before, and I think all the people that are listening to this that have found Hoards in the past, you get a high, right? You get a buzz. It's like any blooming drug in the world, or a sugar rush, or anything like that. So you get a high and you get a buzz, and it's amazing. But of course, what goes up must come back down again. So I've been trying to avoid that by keeping busy, because I've seen people in the hobby find amazing things and then give up the hobby.
Yeah,
because they're like, I'm never gonna hit like that again. It took me 20, 30 years to find out, whatever they found, and then I'm never gonna hit that again, and they just kind of give up. And it's like, oh man, it's kind of like a weird psychological burnout once you found something. You're like, oh, I've kind of completed the game, I've completed the mission almost. So I've been trying to avoid this kind of weird detectors burnout that I've seen happen to other people by keeping busy.
Like Lance in the Detectorist, when he found his bit of luck, and then he had all the bad luck, and he decided he didn't want to do it anymore, and then he buried the coins again, and all was good in the world.
Yeah. Was that the conclusion to it? I can't remember. That was the conclusion, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
That was a good show, although they did rip me off. But They ripped some of my stuff off, but that's all right. It's forgivable.
Tell me.
Good. Well, you know the kind of like the aesthetic. Everybody does it now. I've never moaned about this. I've never moaned about this once. I kind of saw it as a little nod, and I quite liked it. But everybody does it now in their YouTube videos. So stuff like the aesthetic being slow, English, kind of warm, sunsetty, folky music. You've got time lapses going on. You've got like nice English landscapes and stuff like that. When I was doing that, nobody was doing those type of like intros and things. You know, it was literally just talk, dig, talk, dig. But I thought I could put something pretty in there, you know, just to kind of like fill it out a little bit. And I was literally the first person, as far as I know, to do that. And then about 2 years later, detectorists come on TV with the same kind of aesthetic, you know, that folky, warm, nice, lovely, And I got a lot of people messaging me saying, like, okay, this is like your YouTube channel. They've got exactly the same kind of like, you know, like soul of your YouTube channel. And I just thought, yeah, it is very similar. I didn't watch it until about 5 years after it was released. And I thought, yeah, it is. It's very, very, very similar in a lot of ways. And then now everybody does that. Have you noticed? So,
do you know, now I'm thinking of it, you're not wrong.
Yeah. If you go back through the timeline, you'll see it as well. If you go back to my earlier videos, and then you watch it, and then you'll be like, oh my god, it's very, very similar. And now everybody does the folky music, the lovely landscapes. No one did that stuff. And the time lapse of the skies, and you know, just kind of like intros and things, and added a little bit more substance to a video rather than just going, this is what I found. Trying to make it more like a story or something that's a little bit prettier, you know, like something that's a little bit more artistic almost.
Yeah, well, apart from Luke's videos, he's now gone with the Ultimate Warrior theme tune.
Well, yeah, you know, someone needs to break the mould. I kind of broke it a little bit all the way back then and kind of did my own thing and was different then, but I'm not different anymore because everybody's doing it. And somebody needs to just come along and just smash that with something completely fresh and new. And someone will be completely original, but I think the metal detecting videos, with the way that they're presented, are really kind of stagnating at the moment. You know, it's does that make sense? It's all this,
it does.
This thing that we're doing, which I was doing back then, and detectorists did, is really kind of saturated now. It's really so. Yeah, someone's bringing in the Ultimate Warrior music or whatever it is, the Gladiators music. I don't know, anything. Just it needs to be changed up. You know, we need someone to come and kick it up the butt, and then they'll get ripped off, and it'll just go round and round and round. It's like rock and roll, Dave.
You are right. The amount of YouTube metal detectorist is phenomenal. It seems to be. I mean, I went on a dig a couple of weeks ago, and there was people walking around with their own logos for the YouTube channel all over the place. I've never seen so many in one. Well, apart from Detectable, I've never seen so many in one place at all. So yeah, totally appreciate that.
It's because it's such a perfect sub niche. It's a way in for anybody to create content around a YouTube channel. It's quite an easy one to do, and it's also, it doesn't really go on talent either. I don't mean that in the sense of creating the video isn't a talent. I mean it in the sense of, typically if you're going to create something which is video based, you have to have a talent to therefore share. But the thing is with metal detecting, it's not talent, but it's completely luck based, because what we find dictates how successful our videos are. So it's completely different in that sense that, you know, if you've got no talent at all but you find 25 gold coins in a video, people are going to watch that video rather than the guy that's making all of the lovely, you know, intros and outros and stuff that finds a button every week, like me.
This is why I don't make videos for YouTube metal detecting. One, I can't stand it. Two, my phone keeps getting dirty, and I am going out and buying another piece of kit to record it with a GoPro. And I think the videos that I've made up to now are generally me and a little boy going magnet fishing, or alternatively the likes of the Tintagel Castle or places around that area that I've done videos on. And I enjoy doing them, to be honest, because not only I'm not bothered about the hits, it's more for me something I can go back on and, with my memory, be able to see where I've been and, you know, look at what I've done in the past. And it's, as Luke's just said in the chat room. So, by the way, anybody who is listening who'd like to take part in the chat, on the media player at the bottom of the screen, there's a speech bubble. Press on the speech bubble and you'll be able to join in and ask any questions to Kris, etc. But as Luke says in the chat room, it's like a modern day photo album, and that's great for me personally, because I delete stuff off my phone, and I can remember what I've done in the past, so suits me to do that. I'm not bothered about people watching. If they want to watch, they can.
Just going back, just like backstepping ever so slightly there, old chap. Do you enjoy magnet fishing?
I absolutely love magnet fishing.
What is wrong with you?
I've found sod all. It's because my little lad can take part. He's 7 years old.
Oh,
He's too small to pick up a metal detector until hopefully the Nocta Macro Mini Hoard comes out. But he's all the machines I've got here are far too big for me. He can't swing, so you know he can follow me around, but kids will get bored following me around. So to be actually take part every time I've been magnet fishing, bar one, he's been with me, and it's something special to see his little face. Even if he finds a nail, it's fascinating for him. And I tell him all about the history of the canals and stuff as well, because I've got an affinity to canals. I'm from Ellesmere Port, which is where the National Boat Museum is, and we were brought up in the canal industry in Ellesmere Port. So
I thought he was going to say in the canal. Then that would be impressive.
Well, my great auntie was a boatie, so we had a lot of paraphernalia from the boats at our house when I was little, which all got donated to the boat museum. So,
did she have webbed feet?
Unfortunately not.
Oh,
I'm fat and I just sing.
Yeah, so I've done magnet. How many times have I done it now? I've got a really good magnet online. Before magnet fishing was like really popular. About 2013 time, I got a really good magnet. Just thinking, I could do some videos with this. This is going to become popular, and I hated it to death. I think that the first time I went out, I found nothing, but it's just a cold, sodden, slimy mess you get into from the canals. So that's the first time. Second time was the same, but the third time I found half a can of Spam. Oh man, the smell of it now is making me want to heave. Seriously, it was disgusting. Some fisherman's Spam that he just like lobbed into the canal, and that was it. I made my decision. I was never going to magnet fish again. Oh yeah, and then I went to the car, and it stuck through my bag onto my car, leaving all of this green snot like on my car. It's still like a circle there. Well, there was a circle there until my car got scrapped. But it was just, I didn't have a good time with it, man. If anybody wants the magnet, they can have it, because that thing's a bloody liability. It gets me into all sorts of trouble. I got stuck to a lamppost. I was talking to my mate Dimitri, and he said, like, what are you up to? And I was like, oh, well, this, that. And suddenly my bags went, and he was like, what the hell? That is a really awful superpower, Kris. Get your bag stuck to a lamppost. So no, sorry, I didn't enjoy that very much.
Well, I have to say, for me, it's connection time with the little one, and that's not for everyone. I mean, again, some of the videos from magnet fishing, some of the things that they're bringing up: guns, knives, bikes, motorcycles, safes. It's fascinating.
That's what I like about those videos, because there's a sincerity within those videos, because you can't fake something that comes out of the canal. Like, you can fake something in metal detecting, which we know that happens on YouTube videos, so let's not be naive about this. People do this. You can't fake something that comes out of canal, because it's got canal snot all over it, and unless you've got a jar of canal snot in your pocket and you go, oh look, I've just found a gun, and you pour that canal snot over it in the canal, it's not going to work, is it? You can tell when something has just come out of a canal.
You certainly can.
Yeah.
And again, as for me, I'm sat there. there's a place in Congleton where I live that we went a couple of weeks ago. It's by the railway. It's sort of like the main connection of where you'd get onto the canal, and there's on the buildings there old signs, and I mean old signs that have been left up, and the likes of that fascinate me. The wear in the bridges where the ropes where the horses were pulling on the boats and the ropes were cutting into the walls. Anything like that fascinates me. So yeah, it's nice to get. Again, it's getting out in the fresh air, smelling fresh air. Yeah, but the fresh air anyway.
yeah. There's that, and that was the other thing that I didn't like about it. It felt so static. You know, it's like that's what I like about detecting is the movement. You know, being able to move to different places, and yeah, I just remember like I lobbed that magnet in the canal about 10 times. I went, oh God, I just want to move somewhere. I felt, I think I've got a bit of ADHD if I'm honest. I think there's a touch of it there. I just like, whoa, man, I just wanted to play on my PlayStation. I didn't. I don't have a PlayStation. I don't know what I said there, but you know,
go get one. You might get one in the canal.
I just got. I might do. That's right. Oh, we can only dream, Dave.
I don't know if you watched the program with Aquachigger.
He's awesome.
He is excellent. The one with him in England. I can't remember the name of the show. Everybody else will remember, but they were actually using magnets on that as well, and they were, you know, it wasn't the greatest of things they were finding, but they were bringing up historical items. So you know, it's a tool. Yeah,
but the thing is that I mean I've never seen that show, but I heard a lot of people complain about it because they were just bringing up like musket balls and buttons, and I've just kind of this is where producers of TV shows can really ruin things sometimes. I think, whereas you've got Aquachigger, right, who's entertaining enough by himself. He has amazing places to hunt. Right, and he's got those rivers, and he pulls out all of that money and those phones and jewellery and stuff. Don't bring him over to bloody miserable old England to find a musket ball and half a button. Just go film him over there doing exactly the same thing because he's entertaining. You know, it's like the stuff that he's putting out. People don't want to see a musket ball and half a button. You probably do, Dave. But like most people want to see, I want to see a gun, and I want to see like 25 iPhones and like 50 pairs of Ray-Bans and loads of money and 8 GoPros. I don't care about like a musket ball and half a button.
Thinking of it in that sense, you're right. I can understand why they made the programme and how they made the programme, but yeah.
Just take something that's already... Yeah.
How many things did they find, like you've just said, guns and iPhones and such like, and GoPros that weren't put on the show? It would have been nice to see them for modern history, obviously.
Yeah, it's just blooming more interesting, isn't it? Especially if you find something a bit kinky on the phones. But the thing is that like you know, it's take something which is already brilliant. I think that producers and TV, this is what they should do. Take something which is already brilliant and just polish it more. Just make it even bigger and better. You know, just make it 100 times what it is now. So take what he's doing already in America and just make it bigger and better in America. You don't have to like go, oh, we'll bring you to England because that's where all the history is, because you won't bloody find anything.
But at the same time, saying that's just basically making his YouTube into telly, and Bo might not actually want to do that because his YouTube is his YouTube.
Yeah, that's true. We don't know what the like the circumstances are behind it, but I do think that like them blooming producers can make a right pig's ear of things sometimes. Hence what I went through.
Talking of which, what you've been through, where you've had a pretty spectacular find lately in one of your videos.
Yeah, so I found a Bronze Age hoard, old bean,
and quite a sexy little Bronze Age hoard at that. Tell us a little bit about it, Chris.
Yeah, archaeologists are very excited about that actually because it's very, very early. What would you like to know? Do you want to know the story of how I found it, or
yes, if you would, yeah, and then obviously we can lead on to what's occurred with the archaeologists thereafter, and you know, tell us about the machine, because I know you used 2 machines, I think, in the finding process. So
I ended up using 4 in the end, and I need more because that's. That story's not finished with, nowhere near. So, excuse me, I'm burping. So somebody found a Roman gold coin with a C-scope 1220, which is one of their older machines. So I've got good relations with C-scope, and they're down the road from me. And they said, "Can you do a people have been asking how to use it because they've had it for so long, they've lost the instruction manual. Can you do a quick tuition video showing how to use it?" So me being me, I'm not one of these people. What I hate about YouTube metal detectorists is they lie. I don't like it. Like, just like, this machine is brilliant. It's this and it's this and this, and they don't. You need years to get to know a machine, man, or months. You can't review a machine just out of the box like people do. I don't like that. Anyway, so my philosophy is I had to learn the 1220 before I would bestow my knowledge upon people of what I'd learned. I'm not just going to go, "Oh, this is how you use it," when I don't know how to use it myself. That just feels really alien and wrong to me. I'm not going to do that. So I took this machine and I started using it for a couple of months, just going out, and I just wanted to make sure that I knew it like the back of my hand before I. This is just a personal thing to me, just so that people, just did. I didn't get it wrong in any way, and mess people up. So I'd spent loads and loads of time with it, and it was on one of those times when I'd just gone out and I was learning it, and I'd pretty much understood it like the back of my hand now, this machine, this 1220. So just about to start doing the video. It wasn't that day. I thought, I'll do the video next week, but I'll just go out for a hunt today with it. I'll spend 3 hours on the field, and a little bit of bronze come up. No, that's not right, actually. What come up first? No, yeah. So it was just like just a bit of bronze, and I thought, oh, hold on a second here. Okay then, all right. No, I wasn't doing a video, but I thought, okay. But so I'm just going to stick in this area. If anything bronze comes up that old, you've got to be kind of aware that it could be Hoard based. So I thought I'll stick in this area, and I must have stayed in that area for about an hour after that and didn't find a thing. And I was just moving around, and then that piece of that sword came up, that lovely piece of that sword with the green patina on it. And I thought, whoa! And then I just really narrowed down my focus, and then more came up and more. And it was at that point that I had thought, okay, I need more punch now. I need something which is a little bit more modern with that multi-frequency on it. So I went home and got the Equinox 800, which really let me down. It really let me down. It was good for locating the rest of the Hoard. It was really good for locating the rest of the Hoard. It's so efficient. I'll get onto that bit afterwards. And then I hit it with a PI. I hit it with the Rutus. After that, just whopped the Rutus in the deep mode, the altar, and that pulled me up a few more bits of bronze. And then I hit it with the PI, which was the CS4 PI, just for the pulse induction to get that little bit more punch and depth, and just in case I was missing anything. And it was all good. It was all, everything was going was positive, and it was the best way of doing it, I think, although the PI was quite exhausting because obviously it's got no discrimination on it, which is what I wanted because I didn't want to miss anything in the Hoard hole. But I was putting up all of the teeny bits of nails and everything else, and that was quite exhausting. So then I contacted the Archaeologists, and I think it was within 2 weeks they got a team together, come out with the Magnetron, which is what Optimus Prime uses in Transformers. I don't know if it's called a magnetron, but I think that's what he said. And he did a kind of like geophys survey, so we figured out that it wasn't a settlement of any type. The rest of the stuff that came out was daggers, spearheads, an awl, which I thought was the clothing pin, but it turns out it's an awl, which I've since learned about. What else was there? There were some other bits and bobs as well, wasn't there? Oh, and of course all the blooming axe heads that come out. But these axe heads had these really defined patterns on, and that's what the archaeologists were most excited about. So then the archaeologists come down, did their survey. We found the targets, and that's when the mine lab, the 800, really let me down, because what was going on was I was trying to knock back on the discrim and everything because I just needed it to be as pure as possible. And what was happening was it was giving me dead cert targets. So I was telling the archaeologists, there's something right there. Bam, 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 left, right, repeatable, 360, right? All the way around, repeatable, bam, bam, bam. Sensitivity full. I'm pulling out the discrimination. And what is bronze? It's tin and it's copper, right? So it's 10% tin and it's 90% copper. So I've got everything sorted. But they were all phantom. So I was digging, bam, bam, there. Bam, 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 dig in the mud, bam, 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 dig in the mud, nothing. Phantom signals all over the place. Wow. Really let me down, man. It really let me down. And it was that day that I was like, I kind of realised that the 800 is a mid-range machine because I've always kind of held it in such high esteem. And it makes sense to me now that it doesn't replace the 3030 in any way, shape or form. The hierarchy is the hierarchy because of the power of the machine. So it did let me down. And then I hit the whole site with a 6MX and I was picking up stuff that the 800 missed. I was picking up crotal bells and other coins. No more bits of bronze, but all sorts of other bits and bobs. So yeah, we went down, and I've got signals, so they were picking up little bits of bronze. Then we had that one really cool, strong signal, and it turned out to be a blooming hammered coin beneath a clump of 10, 15 hoard items.
Really?
Which is ridiculous. No one could figure out how it happens. Everybody's argument is, well, it's the plough, obviously. And that's a perfectly good argument. But how could 15 clumped items be pulled in unison above a hammered coin and stick together? It doesn't make sense. Yeah, you would expect that plough to scatter them, right? They would move everywhere. They would be more scattered. They wouldn't be all clumped together like that. So it's just everybody's perplexed by that, and I think there's been all sorts of philosophies like it, an animal, and I don't know. So yeah, that's where we are. But that's nothing else came up that day, but everybody just was like, there's more here. There's absolutely more here. They're convinced I'm going to be pulling stuff out of this and adding to that hoard for years and years and years. Yes, yeah. So it was really good. It was cool. The archaeologists were really happy with me. It was nice for a what did he say? The flow. He said, "I am the exemplary, responsible metal detectorist," which is really nice. Because I did everything right. And I waived my fee as well, which I think that they were happy about. But it's nice to have some kind of like positivity for a change, you know.
Well, Kris, as you know, we spoke ourselves a couple of weeks ago. And I've been a part of archaeological sites. I've worked in archaeology, and it's my hope that what I've been able to do in the past, I can, get that going in some way within our community. It's something that I set out to do at the start, was build a link between archaeologists and metal detectorists. And as I said to you on the phone, what you did was, in the first video, is what I believe everybody should set out to do. It was, you started off, you found a few things, you're like, right, I'm stopping now, I can't go any further, I'm going to get the FLO. You did that, you left it, you went away, you brought them back in, you've worked alongside them. Everything you've done has been, to me, perfect. And I've told a lot of people that, and kudos to you for doing it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, the first thing I forgot to mention, the first instance was, I thought I found a corpse, didn't I?
Yes.
Because I found the awl, which I thought was the body pin, and I went down to sand. What I didn't know is sand's actually very, very typical. It's called the Thanet something deposit or something like that, and it's actually quite typical to go down to sand. But yeah, I was convinced. I'd convinced myself that there was a corpse down there, and I still had those strong signals, which turned out to be the hammered coin and the other teeny small bits of bronze. Yeah, and I just had to walk away. And I did walk away, and I'm quite proud of myself for doing that. I've got no business digging up like a if let's just say that there was a corpse down there. What type of that is the ultimate disrespect, isn't it? Like a 4,000, because that guy would have been important. 4,000-year-old like clan head of a clan or some sort of king, and like idiot here comes along 4,000 years later with a metal detector and goes, "Oh, I'll dig that up because there might be treasure underneath it." You just don't do that. Just don't do it. It's you're gonna. This is because this happens, you know, and it's these people that will kill this hobby quicker than anything else. That is the type of press we do not need, old chap.
So, well, there's been a lot of bad press of late in many areas.
Yes.
But back to the find. Obviously, when you found it and you were on video, your reaction was quite shocked, really, wasn't it? How did you actually feel when you discovered more than one axe at the least?
It's funny because it wasn't until I went home that I got excited about it and I started shaking, because when I started finding one, my head was just going protocol, and I was just thinking, how do I treat these with as much respect as possible, get these out, what I can get out with as much respect as possible, get them home with much respect as possible, and you know, get them in a safe environment with as much respect as possible. That was my focus, and I was like, it was like a laser-like focused. Right, I've got a job here to do. I'm not doing it willy-nilly. I did a metre by metre hole. Right, so I didn't just whop my spade in there. It was peeing down with rain, and there was a thunderstorm, and I was like, right, I'll do a metre by metre ish because I didn't have a ruler, and I'm going to get these out with as much respect, as much as I can as possible, which I did. And then I went home and I took all the stuff home, and then it was like lying in bed. That's when I started shaking. I was like, oh my god, I dug up a hoard. It's a Bronze Age hoard, and I just wanted to get back the next day. And because I think, what was it? Was it the second day that I went back? Is when I decided that there was a corpse there. I think it was anyway. Was it? I can't remember. But yeah, it was very, very exciting and very, very cool. But yeah, my head went really ultra academic. Like, I've got to do this right. I was really so paranoid about doing. It would have broken my heart, like if I had dug something out, like that, you know, that beautiful dagger, for example, or sorry, the spearhead, you know, and I just dropped it and it just smashed in two. Could you imagine? Yeah. Could you imagine if you did that and you did that? Like, God, no, I couldn't live with myself. That would have been awful. So yeah, that was how that felt, mate.
Tell me a little bit more about these markings that you said that the axes have got on them.
They're kind of like chevalets, and the flow. Joe was just like really excited. Everybody, all of those archaeologists, because they just kept on turning up, and they kept on turning up, and they kept all of the volunteers, and they kept on, you know, these guys kept on turning up because they wanted to see a Bronze Age hoard. Because what I didn't know about archaeology is something like that is actually really rare. I thought that these guys dig this stuff up every week, but they don't. They don't get to do that. It's not that common. Typically, it's going through layers of strata and, you know, finding half a Roman flip-flop if they're lucky. Yeah. But you know, to find something like this, so they were already happy because I was really upset. I wanted them to find something as well. I wanted them to feel the magic of digging something out. And obviously they had the hammered coin and some other little bits of bronze. So I was kind of upset for them, but they just didn't care about that because the markings and the hoard itself was so exciting to them, for them just to touch it and examine it, and, you know, and just they were in a huddle around a circle in this. It was like American football, and they were just like looking at these things, going through the markings, and yeah. So the flanged axe heads, which are the ones before the pull staff axe heads, and I think typically they weren't marked like that. I think that's what they were quite excited about. So yeah, they've all been taken away now, and they're doing further investigations on them. And there was other bits. There's other bits on them as well that they were just like, "What? Oh my God, why is that there? We haven't seen one like this. Why is that there?" And I was just, Oh my God, these guys are well excited about this. This is awesome. It was really nice to see. It was really nice to share something. It was nice to share an experience with that many people, and it was nice to share with people that weren't metal detectorists as well. We were kind of like one at that point, and that was lovely.
It's mad as cheese. I'd love to be. I mean, I've been on. Do you know, I've organised about 4 or 5 metal detecting events for charity, and on the first 3 I had a Bronze Age axe head in every one of them, which was to me, well, not me personally, people on the sides have had the Bronze Age. A Bronze Age axe head is top of my hit list, my bucket list. But in each of the first 3 things we had there was an old socketed one, and then the others were pulse stave. One by Stephen Aslett, one by Jim Barnes, and the other one was at the dig we did for Bosley when the Bosley wood plant thing exploded and killed 5 people. We did an event for that, and there was a guy from Congleton Metal Detecting Club found one. So I've been lucky to see them. I've been lucky to hold them, but to find one is. And how many now is out? What's the total of them you've got?
What, of the actual axe heads?
Yeah.
12?
Wow.
I think 12. Yeah, because I think something like that anyway. But they're all different sizes. It's really weird, like really small ones, and then like the typical big ones. Yeah, but they're still down there, man. This is a lifelong adventure, a mission now, I think. And I've just got to get my hands on a Deep Seeker. We borrowed one of those Avenios, the Nocta Macro Avenio. Do you know the one that just kind of around? Pete, bless his heart, from LP, lent one to Lucas for us to use, but we just couldn't get our heads around it within a week to be able to kind of like do it justice, if you know what I mean. So I think if we'd spent like a few months with the Avenio, we could have used it. But so I've got to get my hands on some sort of Deep Seeker just to get a bit more punch, I think. I'm allowed.
Sorry, go on.
I'm allowed to. The archaeologist said, "Yeah, knock yourself out. Carry on digging."
Brilliant.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah.
A couple of friends of mine have got the Bliss Tool V6, the Beast. And they swear by it. It goes, so deep it's untrue. So if you know anybody locally who's got a Bliss Tool V6, you might want to Bliss
Tool. Oh, okay then.
They're very, very fiddly. They give me one day to play with, and how much a technophobe I am. It's so many analog little buttons on it and such like. It's very, very difficult, but the depth is absolutely phenomenal, or so I'm told. And if there's anybody in the chat room who can confirm that about the Bliss Tool V6 and its depth, please do.
Yeah, I mean, it's this. If there's any distributors or companies listening as well, this could be a very, very cool way of them getting a good video out of a Deep Seeker, which I'll only borrow it. I don't need one permanently. But that'd be a cool thing to do if anybody wants a bit of coverage, because everybody wants to dig out a hoard.
I will pass you over some communication details later.
Cheers, old chap. Thank you.
I'm sure they, to be honest, the Bliss Tool I don't even know how common the Bliss Tool are, how many people have actually got them, but because you don't hear of them. You don't hear them. You've not heard of one, and I know quite a few people who haven't heard of them. But the people who have heard of them swear that the depth of them, although they're so difficult, they are built for solely depth. By the sounds of it, are
they targeted hoard hunting machines?
I couldn't tell you.
Oh, right, okay.
I'm not going to embarrass myself that much tonight.
I've heard of the name, but I've never seen one or seen one being used. But I've definitely heard the name. By all accounts, as I say, Graham and Dave have had. Dave himself had a Bronze Age hoard in these. No, sorry, he'd had a hammered hoard in these pots near Congleton. And he decided to go back and use the Bliss Tool to check if there was anything else. It's a strange
they got onto the clay layer that was that deep, and
Blooming
found
hell.
additional things sitting on the clay layer.
It's a strange name, though, isn't it? Blistol. It's something you'd expect from like an Ann Summers catalogue.
Yes, it certainly is.
Is it, Dave?
So I've heard. Friends at work.
That's the right answer.
Have said that. I couldn't comment myself, obviously.
No, of course not. Of course not. So yes, that's where we are with that particular hoard, old chap. So far, anyway. But as I said, there's more coming out. I think that the farmer turns the field next week as well. I'm trying to convince him into doing a deep plough, but I don't think he will.
Does the site itself, as the archaeologists are involved, they've said you can continue. It's obviously not being put under any
scheduled. No, not at all.
No. So is the farmer allowed to work it as he normally would, given that the potential that there's more artifacts in the soil?
Yeah, absolutely. They're not that concerned. I think the concern was if it was a burial, which it isn't. They know it isn't. Well, I don't know how they know it isn't, but they know stuff. Archaeologists, they all checked everything and said it's definitely not a burial. And if it was a settlement, obviously that would be scheduled as well.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's a one-off founders hoard. Though it's been put there, obviously everything's there. It's a founders hoard, so it's going to be used again in the future. Although strangely, some of the items come out perfect, which is weird. But you don't know why they would have lobbed it all in there. So it's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. And they just said all of this is probably topsoil stuff anyway. And you've probably they think I've found a majority of it, but they're convinced that all of that other topsoil stuff has just been scattered. So that's where my focus is going to be in the future. So I'm not going to be really going down at any depth typically, but I do want to go down depth at least once with one of those machines, just to make sure there isn't anything else down there. Because they only went down when they dug, they only went down to 8 inches or so. And then I scanned, found the hammers, and they went, okay, we think we've got everything out. And this almighty storm come. I mean, my God, it was Mediterranean. It was crazy. And they just kind of like quit. They were just like, get the hell out of it. Because it was apocalyptic, this thing. And they were just like, all right, everything's done. Let's go home. And that was that. And I think if it was a nice sunny day, they would have really spent more time and we could have really got in there. But it was the weather that kind of like messed it up. So I still think there's things down there.
So what you actually found out of that is that the metal detectorists are a little bit more hardcore than archaeologists.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a couple of guys there that were just like, no, let's continue. But I think, on the whole, they were just like, so this is not the day that I want to die as an archaeologist. Yeah, there wasn't much Raiders of the Lost Ark about them, I've got to admit. Yeah, so that's cool, man. But apart from that, I've got a nice new permission the other day. It's not nice. It's bloody awful, if I'm honest. Do you get those permissions? You probably do, where I've got this one field down here in Kent, and it is massive. It is huge, this field. Bloody nothing on it. There's nothing there. Because it's in the middle of Narnia, right? It's like just in the middle of nowhere. It's not next to any roads. It's not next to any features. Not next to any rivers. There's no trees there. It's just dull. So you go on it, and you're like, oh my God, it's massive. And you go on it, and there's nothing. You go on it, there's nothing. Not even a blooming 303 shell. So these new permissions that I've got are just like that. They're just in the middle of nowhere, and they're massive. And I'm not really looking forward to it, to be honest. But you don't know, do you?
I picked up a new permission the other week in a fantastic location, close to where 2 of them Bronze Age axe heads have been found. Brilliant sheep farm, excellent, all groovy. And then unfortunately it was there's a gun club close to it, and the gun club, the house had been hit by some shot, so they decided for safety purposes not at the moment. So I was a bit gutted about that. So because it had the because of the area, because of the location, because of everything else that's been found locally. It had a lot of I can't remember the word, Chris. You know what I mean.
No, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about.
It looked great. It looked great.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I haven't done a scan of this. This is the other thing now. So because I did this like Bronze Age thing, I found all this napped flint. So I'm now also stupidly fascinated with napped flint. That's like my secondary hobby to metal detecting. So when I'm scanning the ground, I'm looking for flints everywhere as well. I think my next thing will be pottery, kind of like identifying pottery. So what I'm going to do...
I do that all the time. You know, the amount of pottery, the amount of flint fragments and such like I've got here is... I've got, well, not as much as I've got metal detecting finds, but I've got a pot in front of me full of, flint and what have you. But probably more so from the Civil War era when they were napping to put it into the flint locks and such like.
Oh, that's cool.
I always do that, especially... There's several locations close to me. The Bridestones Neolithic burial cairn is 5 minutes from my house. Arborough, which is the northern area's version of Stonehenge, that's 45 minutes away. So when I'm ever in them areas, I'm always field walking. I'm always looking for other things. Even a couple of weeks ago when I went on a organised dig, which unfortunately ended up being a debacle due to the green waste that the farmer didn't tell anyone about.
Oh man, it's fine, that's tough.
I was before it even started, before the whistle went at 9 o'clock. I was field walking, looking for. I always have a half bag of pottery whenever I go out metal detecting, and it's there.
Yes, that's what I need to do on this new field before I judge it harshly. I'm going to wander and look for any like features. Obviously, I've checked the old maps and there's nothing there. But yeah, if I can find napped flint before I go detect, then I'll be a little bit more happier about the situation. Have you ever found a meteorite?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh yeah, see, that's another thing I'm getting interested in. That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
I'd tell you one thing I would like to do. Luke's got it bob on where he lives. The fossil cliffs and stuff like. Well, there's a place by me. What's it called? I remember the name of it at the moment. There's basically an old train line that goes from Buxton to Bakewell onwards like that, and it's now just for walking. The tunnel's been all done out for your cyclists and your walkers, what have you. Fantastic location. The Monsell Trail, it's called. I actually found there was a bit of a quarry on the side of it, so we just went for a meander while I'm doing the walking and what have you. Went for a meander around the quarry. I've got multiple fossils here in my display cabinet that the kids have took to school and whatnot. Because, well, one of them, honestly, Chris, I picked it up and it was a piece of stone, whatever variety it is, and I accidentally dropped it and it split in two. And on both sides, I've got the perfect imprint on one side of the fossil. Can't remember what it is because it's written on the side of it. And on the other side, I've got the fossil itself. So the two sides have got something.
Nice.
And absolutely, again, something for relaxation purposes, and being able to be out and about, like the magnet fishing, like metal detecting, something that I love to do. And as I was saying, I'd love to go down the fossil coast and spend the day down there having a look at the cliffs.
Get down here, man, because that's where I live, isn't it? I live on the cliffs.
Yeah.
And we've got I did a video with Deep Digger Dan. We went out fossil hunting. He come down, and we were just everywhere. It's so good, but you're not allowed to dig though, are you? It's illegal to dig them. You can only find them. But going back to the Bronze Age hoards, this is funny how like hobbies kind of link into hobbies. So I found the Bronze Age hoard. So me and my mate Tom, we've now we're becoming forgers, man. We're becoming like blacksmiths. So we're going to make our own Bronze Age knives and daggers and stuff. We've sourced the tin, we've sourced the copper, we've got a crucible. We're making the template tomorrow with the wood and the sand. We've got some of the equipment. We've already created the templates for the daggers, so we're making our own Bronze Age stuff. Just because I was so fascinated with, like, how did they do this? So I learned how they did, like, created all of the stuff in the Bronze Age exactly. There's a guy called Will something or other. He's amazing, Dave. You would love him. Type in Bronze Age Will, because this guy shows you how to nap flint. He's like a northern dude with long hair, and he's like prehistoric. He's awesome. I'll give you the link when we speak afterwards. But yeah, so I learned loads of stuff about how to create Bronze Age axe heads. He does all of the pull stave ones with actual bronze, actual bronze. And so that's what I'm doing now. I might even make a whole new YouTube channel about it. I'm blooming fascinated. Honestly, it's so cool.
There's a post on Treasure Hunting magazine that was put in by Jules yesterday at 9 a.m. And it's basically somebody whose things that they've found, and they're doing exactly what you said, and they've got the images of how they went and, the Crucible, what have you, the sand.
Yeah.
And Ian Winship Bailey, his name, and this is things that they've found metal detecting.
Right.
And they've used to replicate Bronze Age axe heads. There's a guy in the club that I'm a chairman of. Unfortunately, he's been in hospital for a while, Colin, just to give him a shout out.
Hello, Colin.
Hello, Colin. Hope you get well soon, pal. I hope they sort you out anyway. All the lead that he uses, he melts down and makes his own musket balls for his gun, his flintlock gun.
Oh,
so
cool.
There's always, again, there's something yourself you can do. You can try and replicate. How easy is it to melt lead? Try and replicate that. Try and make your own musket balls. There's a challenge for you. And when you video it, the Dave Sadler challenge.
Lead freaks me out, though, man. Like, old lead freaks me out because it's blooming dangerous, isn't it? Because it's toxic.
Yeah.
Really toxic. So you've got to be a little bit careful with lead. And yeah, but I think that's kind of a path that I'm going to end up going down, just making old awesome weapons. But it's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, when they created that Bronze Age stuff, like, can you imagine the first time they did that? You're messing around with wood and stone and flint for God knows how many thousands of years, and then some dude like mixes a bunch of stuff together and just goes, check that out. Look at that.
Yeah,
everyone's like,
how did it come about? How did he decide to put them things together to create bronze?
Yeah, copper, like 10% tin. Sorry, 10%. Tin and 90% copper, and like stick that together, and there you go. Because we don't have much tin ore down here. It's very much a West Country type thing, isn't it?
Cornwall, they've got all the tin mines.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it must have travelled as well.
Do you know there's actually a news article this week regarding can't remember the substance. I'm not going to embarrass myself again, but it was Llandudno in North Wales. The mines there, and they found that some of the material that they mined has actually been found in European objects. So they were obviously shipping this material from North Wales onto the continent back in God knows what days. Yeah,
it's cool, isn't it? That's another thing that fascinates me about them blooming Romans, because what I've been learning about is that they actually were here, weren't they, before the Roman invasion, in inverted commas. So we were good mates with them, trading backwards and forwards, like all of their tin and all of their not their tin, all of their grapes and pottery and bits and bobs and kinkiness, them Romans, and we were trading backwards and forwards before they technically attacked. That's cool, isn't it?
It is.
Go on.
It was copper, the Great Orme copper mine, traded widely in the Bronze Age. That was from the Great Orme copper mine. Awesome place, absolutely stunning. If you haven't got these parts.
Oh, it's amazing. It's just all amazing, and it's just like I was having this discussion with the archaeologists, and they were just saying, like, humans haven't really changed that much as humans. And like the psychology, we still have the same needs and wants and things, and so we were talking about the kind of like cultural significance and the psychological significance of creating something that, that groundbreaking and what that did to society and culture. Wow, it was cool, man. It was really cool. I really enjoyed it. It's nice to have a discussion about the things that you find with someone that knows what it is within the context of how you found it.
Yeah.
That being, okay, we go out and we find, I found this, and I found this, and I found this. But for someone to say to you, yeah, that was used for this, and that was used for this, and it's this old, and this is where they made it, and this is how long it was used for. And you're like, oh my God, this is the piece of the puzzle that I'm missing in metal detecting, almost. It's really nice picking up old stuff, and it's really nice picking up historical things. It's lovely. But for someone to then tell you all about that without you going online and seeing dead web page, and someone who's in front of you and excited, they're excited. They're like, look at that, that's this, and it makes you excited.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, that's cool, man. Sorry, I'm going on, I'm preaching. But yeah, it was really nice. I really enjoyed working with those guys. I loved it.
Something I'd love to do. In that, obviously, I've worked with metal detectors. Interestingly, I took part in a conversation on British Archaeology Facebook page a couple of weeks ago, and a lady commented on it, and I thought, I recognise that name. So I went onto a profile, saw she lived in the area that I'm from, in Ellesmere Port, and it turns out she was the archaeologist who was in charge of me when I was doing the archaeology over there. So we've been communicating and whatnot, and hopefully I can get Felicity to come on the show in the future. But it threw me right back to the days, and I got all excited again about, I'm not actually involved in archaeology currently, but to be able to talk to somebody who has been where I've been. I've got a picture on my wall here, Chris. It's the first trench I've ever been a part of, and there was a lot of rocks when I got there one morning, so I was left on my own, told to do what I was doing, and I moved all the rocks, and I got absolutely bollocked by the site manager because I shouldn't have done it. I didn't realise that. Context. Exactly. Fortunately, what I did was inadvertently find a Roman road, and I've got a picture on the wall I'm looking at now. It's the Roman road that I've been looking for, so inadvertently, by me being an idiot, I'd done it and found it, but none of the additional
story
stuff
of my life.
Recorded. Again, historical finds. I've got 3 things here that were actually given to me. The nothing I've found. I'm not that lucky. I've got a Paleolithic hand axe, and I've got 2 flint arrowheads as well in my display case.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely love them. Absolutely stunning. To know that Paleolithic hand axe is as old as it is, and their diet is what I should be using.
Yeah, no, same, man. That'd get rid of the IBS, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I think of that all the time. I'm thinking, God, why have I got the squiddly dits? Oh, I know why. It's because of all those blooming chemicals I ate in all my food yesterday. I'm just going to eat some potatoes and some meat. If I eat potatoes and meat, I'm fine. Right? But it's all of this other blooming stuff they stick in you. Sorry, really digressing on that one.
I've got to say, Mrs. Sadler played a blinder today. I've come home to my first beef stew of the autumn season with dumplings, and it was most delightful.
It's wonderful, isn't it? Cool, you're making me. I'm salivating now. Oh, I've got to be. I can't eat beef stew at this time of night. It's going to take ages to cook. Won't be done until about 2:00 in the morning.
Slow cooker all day. This one, mint. Anyway, Chris, it's our hour is up. As I said to you earlier, we're running a show for an hour because it gives people a little bit more time to listen to it and not get bored of listening to whatever they're listening to. Although I really could go on speaking to you for a long time more, as I'm sure you would agree. You like talking and know what it's like when you start. Myself and Luke have been invited to... I've just actually asked Pete Terrell, but unfortunately he won't be there this weekend. Myself and Luke will this weekend be at the National Council for Metal Detecting general meeting in Northampton, so I'm looking forward to that, obviously, to see what transpires at these meetings and find out a little bit more, and see what we don't see, because there's a lot of work that the NCMD do behind the scenes that we don't appreciate as metal detectorists. So I'm looking forward to learn a lot more, and obviously if I'm able to give out any information, we'll be able to give first-hand information via the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine on Facebook, Twitter, etc. Of what is transpiring and what's going on, because I know there's a lot going on behind the scenes with regards to the future of metal detecting and the potential of officialdoms not wanting us to do so anymore. So
yeah, that's another discussion that I know quite a bit about, unfortunately.
Yeah, for another day. And I know there'll also be one which I'm very heartfelt at the moment, is that of green waste as well. They'll be covered. So lots to talk about in the coming weeks. Next week, I'm dead good. I am when we started doing the big podcast. Which, hey, the quality's been okay tonight. Thank you. Even though the equipment didn't work because it said I needed another program. But hey, I've got a nice little whiteboard here with all the people coming up and such like. Next week we have Scott and Kimmy Dubay. So
love them guys.
Lovely chat with them, and to obviously learn more about their background, which I'm not privy to. I've not. I don't know much about Scott and Kimmy's background. I always thought, well, Scott I knew was American, and Kimmy I thought was English until I met her at Detectable
Irish
Squeeze, and she was what about you? So it'll be great to speak to them next week. And the following week we have Nathan and Matt from Black Adder, and I've said it right for the first time ever. We'll be having a chat with them. I know you weren't at Detectable, but they actually had something cast. I heard so. Luke told me all about why you weren't there. They actually had cast a bronze axe, and it was phenomenal. And they raffled it off, £5 ticket, and the guy from Australia won it and had to take it home with him to Australia somehow. I'll send you a picture. It was absolutely. I've got a picture of myself of it, so you'll be able to see the size. It was absolutely phenomenal. I felt a proper Viking.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, before I go, there's a brand new metal detector which is coming out, and it is honestly, it's going to blow away all metal detectors on the market. It's called the Millie 200. Go on my YouTube channel and just check out that video of the Millie 200, because you're going to be really impressed, mate. All right?
Millie, M-I-L-I?
No, MILLY 200. It's. I think this is going to be better than the Deus, the 3030, and everything, mate. Honestly, you got to check it out. It's my latest video on my channel. Okay, it's very short.
Yeah, found that one. What company are them from? What?
The company's called Millie.
Yeah, I got that. I thought it was. I thought it was like the Minelab Equinox.
You don't understand when you watch a video, man.
God! I can see a little picture, so it's not actually going to be the world's greatest metal detector, is it?
What are you talking about? It's amazing.
Is it as good as the one I've got here?
I think it's probably better, but Pete needs to get that in stock right now. He will sell 1 billion of them, no doubt. I'll wear a t-shirt with that.
Let me just remind myself what the Dr. Otec MTX are. Absolutely fine, and I'll go straight up against the Millie 200, no problem.
Well, no, that's
actually,
fighting.
I'm lying. It was a bag of pap.
Oh.
It's the worst thing I've ever. Do you know that I was sent it to. I'd like to write a review on it, but I can't, because there's no way I can lie.
But the thing is Dr. Otec are pretty good at some of their stuff's all right, isn't it? And they do really good pointers, don't they?
This I took into the field alongside the Root Assaulter 71, and it was one of those ones that when you get it out, other people look at you and laugh. So I give it a go, and it was not doing any. And it's very, 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 very poorly, cheaply made.
Oh dear, that's not good, is it? I think those guys got in contact with me and said, can we use your video, my beginner's guide to metal detecting, but they wanted to cut out all of the bits of C-scope in it and stick their own logos over the top. Nice.
I know that Brad has been doing a video on it, and I've not watched it because I don't like it.
Maybe you got a dud one. It happens, you know. You get sometimes you get dud batches. It could just be knackered.
Yes, or it could just be
crap.
Yes, that's the word I'm looking for.
There
Kris,
it is.
it's been absolutely fantastic to speak to you again.
Cheers.
Thank you very much for coming on. Obviously, learning about the Hoard, watching what's happening with the Hoard and the Archaeologists, for me has been a great experience, and I can't wait to see if this site yields anything else.
Oh, it will. It will. I guarantee it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
great talking
if
to
you
you,
don't
old
know him
chap.
already, this is Mr. Kris Rodgers. His YouTube channel is Addicted to Bleeps. Please go over and watch his videos, because I would say they are the best of the YouTube videos personally. They're the ones that there's not many YouTube videos I will watch because there's so many of them and they are so samey. But Kris actually teaches me stuff as I watch, and I'm not just saying that, Kris.
Thanks, man.
I won't just say that because I watch the videos or I'm your mate. It's just they are the best videos out there. I would personally say they're my number one.
Bless
choice.
your cotton socks.
I haven't got any socks on. I've got naked feet.
Oh, God. There's an image.
Thanks again, Kris. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the Big Metal Detecting Podcast. Give us a look up on Facebook for all the news and whatnot. It's actually under All Metal Mode UK and the Big Metal Detecting Podcast. I'm Dave Sadler. That was Kris Rodgers. Good night.
Ta-ra.
The Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine acts as a hub for information, offering articles from archaeologists, detectorists and other specialists throughout the genre, featuring many links, event info and news articles associated to archaeology and metal detecting. We also offer professional review services and promotion for books, resources, videos, documentaries, gadgets, equipment and much, much more. The magazine is run by the archaeological and metal detecting community for the archaeological and metal detecting community. So come visit us at archmdmag.com, that's archmdmag.com, and check out information from our media section with all the latest content, news from the Archaeology channel, podcast and the YouTube channels that feature the now legendary Digger Dawn, the Man with the Hat and Archaeo Duck, just to name a few. If you would like to offer an article, link or inquire about other services, then pay us a visit at archmdmag.com and drop us a line.